Hey, friends. Welcome to the Self-Love Strong podcast. I'm super excited you guys are here because today we have a very special guest. We have someone who truly understands the power of communication, nutrition, and mindset in transforming our lives. Becky Webb is a NeuroNutrition and functional movement strategist and international speaker, and a behavioral transformation specialist with nearly 2 decades of experience in the health and wellness industry. As the founder of Rapid Resilience Nutrition, Becky is passionate about helping individuals heal and thrive through their tailored nutritional strategies, particularly those with managing concussions and post-concussion syndrome. Her expertise blends mindset coaching, functional nutrition, and behavioral transformation, offering a unique approach to sustained health and personal growth. Beyond her work in wellness, Becky is an advocate for international communication, both with herself and others. She believes that self-honesty, clarity, and setting healthy boundaries are essential tools for personal and professional success. On top of that, Becky is a dedicated mother of 3 bilingual children, balancing her professional expertise with real-life experience. Today, she's here to share her insights of how communication, nutrition, and mindset can help cultivate self-love and unlock your full potential. Becky, welcome to the show. I'm super excited you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm always so excited to meet and connect with new people, especially those that align with my own personal core values. And self-love is such a big one that I think so many of us neglect.
Yes. Oh, man, just hearing what your expertise and just, all this knowledge that you have. Um, how do verbal and nonverbal communication impact self-love and our overall wellness, would you say?
Yeah, so how we really perceive things, mindset is really focused on several different components, and I'm addressing nonverbal here. Nonverbal starts with our thoughts, which then get formed into words or actions, both verbal and nonverbal, which then translates into habits. Those translate into either successes or failures. And then from there, that cycle repeats over and over again. The words that we tell ourselves really shape and frame everything that we do. And when we talk positively to ourselves, our RAS, or also known as a reticular activating system, is going to store all of that information and put blinders on and only focus on those things that are positive. So mindset in the healing world is an absolute key component. I would say the most important, on top of your nutrition and obviously physical activity and so forth. But then you take a look at the negative side, right? If we're constantly saying, I can do better, I didn't good enough, or I failed here, just all of these negative nagging thoughts, RAS is going to come in, put those blinders on, and only focus on the negative. And it's going to push all that good away. It relates and spills over both verbally and non-verbally. So it all goes back to mindset, really.
Wow, I really love that. I love that you were talking about, that non-verbalness and how important it is of how we speak to ourselves and the things that we're letting in. I never thought about it like that, how our thoughts, ideas, and suggestions are really, we had those failures and we wonder why we're in that same cycle of making the same mistakes over and over because we're never really dealing with the problem. And the problem is really what we're saying to ourselves, would you say?
Huge component of it. But another concept that we fail to look at is those that we surround ourselves with. Where is your power of proximity? Where's your circle of influence coming? Even looking at your environment. Is your environment conducive to the life that you want to live? Like, do you enjoy living in a pigsty? That's going to stress you out, which then feeds that wolf, that negative wolf inside your head. You look at your circle of influence, they contribute massively because you become the 6th person in your circle of 5 closest people to you. And they are either going to be positive or negative or somewhere kind of in between, when in reality, we were made to be so much more. We were called to do so many incredible things. And so really taking a look at your power of proximity, who's influencing you. And on the flip side of that, what are you doing to influence your circle of influence? How are you contributing to your power of proximity? Aside from environment, we're looking at things that we watch, that we read, that we listen to, the music that we choose to blast through our headphones in the gym or even in the car as we're cruising along, the audiobooks that we're listening to, people on the street. Some people go to church on Sunday, other people go to the club on Saturday night. What are you picking up from that? That translates so much into feeding that mindset. So it's really a very dynamic figure that we're looking at when it comes to both verbal and nonverbal communication. People's actions. I've done Krav Maga, which is hand-to-hand combat that the Israeli military uses. And if someone throws a fist, I instantly am triggered to go into defense mode because that's what I've surrounded myself with. Now, having been pulled out of that due to a recent knee injury about a year ago, it's not on the height or the forefront of my mind. My RAS has kind of pushed that aside a little bit, but it doesn't mean that that trigger isn't there. And so the environment, physical, social, and even emotional environments in which you are putting yourself into really feed and bleed over into those both verbal and nonverbal communications. And even interacting, you have to make sure that you're interacting with people for that positive aspect, and in that growth aspect, that we're not feeling threatened, that we're using language and receiving that language from other people that makes us feel safe, that provides that positivity, that really fosters that connection and building those relationships. And on the contrary, of course, we have the negative aspect of things where people might constantly fold their arms, which makes us feel invalidated as humans because they're not being receptive to our message, and vice versa. So there's so much that really goes into feeding that mindset, which then, feeds the RAS, the reticular activation system. Ed Milet talks so much about that in his book, The Power of One More. Phenomenal read. If you haven't read it yet, strongly recommend it. I read that probably more than my scriptures. Let's just be real. I need to spend a little more time on that word, but those are just some key components that I look at when it comes to doing a lot of mindset work. So, and I also look at, what are we doing nonverbal actions? Are we really diving into physical activity? Is our nutrition dialed in? What is our stress management techniques like? Are we doing anything to help improve that situation? So it's like I said, a very broad and dynamic component and network that we're really assessing when we look at mindset, when I look at mindset with any and all of my patients.
Man, I really love that. It's so powerful talking about that power of proximity that you were talking about. You're that sixth person in that group of people. And I think many times that, we find ourselves like, well, Becky, I'm in this situation. I can't really choose who's around me, right? But I love something you said there as well. You're like, it's my actions, right? I have a responsibility of how I'm showing up in that group too. And I think many times we give that away because these people are acting like this. So maybe it's just easy to go along because, we all want to fit in. That's just a human need, right? We all want to fit in and be accepted. But I love how you talked about the power of, you have the power to choose how you're going to show up in that group. And you can be the one that changes that dynamic and really allowing, what are you settling for and allowing in your life? That's so awesome.
Yeah, settling is never a word that I personally choose to do. I will never do. And especially listeners of this podcast, there's a reason that they're listening. They're choosing self-love. Settling is choosing everything that is contrary to self-love. I absolutely settling. That's like 1700s, like 1600s settling this country. Like we've been there. We've done that. Yeah. Now we're to grow. You can't grow if you're settling. And that all starts here.
Yes, that is so powerful and so true. I love that. I really love that because you're right. I think many times they're like, you get told that you should be thankful with what you have. But like you said right there, you have a choice. I think many times we give that away because somebody told you, you should settle for that. This is good enough. But I love how you said, hey, it's an old way of thinking. Now it's time to show up and better and take your power back. That's awesome. I love. So what would you say are some key techniques that somebody can really start to take that power back? Maybe find those better groups, maybe start to speak to themselves. Is there any strategies there?
Absolutely. Look at your social media. Are you following people that inspire you? If not, get them click that unfollow button right now, because if they're not serving you or they're not paying rent in your head, if your thoughts aren't paying rent in your head, I mean lucrative cash flow every month, get them the hell out of your life. They have no place there. The second thing that I would that I hit with every single human being, I myself am included in this, we don't exercise gratitude enough. It is so incredibly important. Going back to what you said here is you have to be thankful for those things that you do have, because that's the foundation that's going to help you to level up. Gratitude is so powerful. And in fact, when you exercise gratitude for 9 days, between 9 to 12 days, provided, that nutrition is on lockdown, physical activity is in a consistent pattern there, new neural pathways can form in your brain, leaving those old ones dead. With those thought processes, it's so captivating and so incredibly amazing when you look at like the physiological aspects of how body changes, even just by simply exercising gratitude. I love that. And then the third thing that I look at here when it comes to making these transformations is, where's your heart? What do you want to do? Are you in alignment with your own core values? If not, take accountability, take ownership, execute. Execution is the antidote to anxiety. And sometimes we get caught up in this circle constantly. And Jen Gottlieb taught me that. She's a good friend of mine. But Jen Gottlieb said, overanalysis paralysis. We spend too much time up here and not enough time using our hands, whether it's on a keyboard, whether it's on a phone, whether it's out there doing manual labor, whatever it is, running a machine, working in a factory, whatever it is. Get to work. Freaking get to work. Because I believe in a firm saying, my buddy Rob Bailey, freaking love him. He says in one of his song lyrics, he's a death metal screamer guy, freaking love him. He said, you have to earn your sleep. When you lay your head down on your pillow at night, are you getting that sense of pride and like, hey, I get to circle that W, as my friend Nick Ross says, I circle that win for the day. Have you earned that? No? Then you're not taking enough action. So there's some different components that I look at here. And then the fourth one here is asking yourself, does this bring me joy? Men are that they might have joy. That's a firm belief that I have within my own scriptures. And, being a Christian, a God-fearing woman, men are that they might have joy. If it doesn't bring you joy, it's a hell no. People think that they have to submit or conform. If you're on this podcast, I can guarantee you right now, if you're listening, you are the one in your family that has the opportunity and is seeking for that opportunity just simply by listening to experts that are on this podcast, right? You are the one that can make the change. Your actions affect those around you, future generations. Like the reality of that, when you marinate in that for just a moment, is really, really powerful. You have a lot of responsibility on your shoulder. And I'll be honest, I used to be a control freak where I had to see everything. Like one of my greatest skill sets is tenacity. But that doesn't mean I can't delegate out. That doesn't mean I can't hire out those things that I don't want to do. I hate laundry. I have someone who comes in every week and cleans my home so I can focus on laundry because I'm still a single mother of 3 children who know how to do their laundry, but still need a little supervision. Right? So hire those things out that you don't want. And if you can't hire out, call for help. There's no shame in that. And then the fifth thing I would say is just grant yourself grace. Be okay right now. Sit in the reality of where you're at. Build that self-awareness. Take an inventory of those things that are not in alignment with the previous 4 pillars that I just mentioned there. There's something that you can do about it. Maybe it's just doing the dishes. Maybe it's severing those communications from your social media. Maybe it's, hey, I'm not going to listen to that rap shit anymore. Like we're done. I'm going to start listening to audiobooks, podcasts, something that's going to transform your mindset. When you show up for you and know that you show up for you, even if it's just in the smallest changes, because I guarantee you consistency in the smallest things are what's really going to propel you forward. Once you get that momentum going, you become freaking unstoppable. Freaking unstoppable. I cannot echo that enough. You become unstoppable. You are literally limitless. You are literally a divine creation from the man upstairs. Look at where he's at. And if we're part of him, like if he created us, like just open the mindset, open the heart and be ready to receive whatever life comes your way and have that mindset of, hey, I'm going to figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, I'm going to build a network. I'm going to connect with people. I'm going to shake hands so that when that time comes, I can't figure it out, but I know someone who can. So many different strategies here. I light up when I talk about this, if you can't tell, because I know exactly what doesn't work.
Yes, man, that is so powerful, Becky. Man, that is beautiful. Wow, such powerful strategies, and I love, man, I love every single one of them. But I'm going to start with that first one just real quick. I love how you're talking about really looking at who you're following. I think many times, like you said, it's so easy to click that we're adding people to our circle that aren't really feeding us. The media, maybe it's the television you're watching, like you talked about, it could be the song listening to. It really comes down to everything you're ingesting and taking that power back. I love how you said, you know what, hey, if it's no longer serving you, click it, delete it, get rid of it. Yeah. Because I think many times we hold on to things because this is what everybody else is doing, or this is what I've been told is going to serve me. But I love how you were like, you know, hey, this is not going to serve me. Asking yourself what you really want. I think many times we're being told what we need, but like you said, asking for clarity and saying, do I really even want what I'm doing? Right? It's so powerful, Becky. Wow, man, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of, I recently did it. My best friend and we recently did a social media audit, and I don't follow a lot of people, but the people that I do follow have personally or professionally, even face-to-face connection added some kind of value to my life, and that has been reciprocated. So, you know, I know I have dated NFL athletes, I've dated celebrities, I've dated common people, I've dated losers, kind of all over the spectrum. And one thing that I go by when it comes to providing value is that reciprocated? If that's not reciprocated, out. If they're not open to receiving, out. If I'm not open to receiving, they shouldn't deserve my time. So there's that measure of accountability there as well. Reciprocity is so incredibly important in any relationship, including yourself. Your body does so much for you, for example. Give back to it. Move it. Treat it well. Eat healthy. Eat clean. So many different strategies. And that goes into, you know, I love the concept of diet. Diet isn't just what you eat. It's literally what you ingest. With your ears, with your eyes. I mean, what you feel, what you touch, what you smell. Something smells gross, get the hell out. It's easy. You have a choice. You have feet, use them. You have hips, engage your glutes and move forward. Get out. It's so incredibly important. And I would just challenge anyone who's listening right now, like, when we get off here, this is your homework. Get off. Go clean up your social media. Clean up contacts in your phone so that temptation to revert back to old ways isn't there. You got to remove those temptations that are no longer serving you, you know, bringing you down into that pit of despair, and clean your life up. Like, life is too damn short to be lived in this mediocrity. It's stupid. You're so much better than that. And you as an individual are worth so much more than that. It's time to clean things up, baby.
Yes, man. I love that. Yes, I agree. It's time. It's time. Stop playing life small. I love how you said that. It's like, stop playing life small. You can play a bigger game and you deserve more. Like, how amazing you are. Like, I love how you're like, you know what? You were created by the most incredible thing ever in this world, right? You are an amazing person. And to not honor that wouldn't be fair to you. It's not fair to you and your creator. I mean, it's so powerful. But I love how you were talking about taking action. I think many times we're looking for things to change. Like you said, we find ourselves in that analysis paralysis, hoping, wishing, dreaming. But it's like you said, until you take that action, nothing changes. And I really love how you talked about it's just doing it. It's time to just start taking action. So awesome.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, I was in another conversation earlier this week, and we came to one simple thing. One step forward in the right direction is still a step forward in the right direction. It's not a step backwards. You're still going to progress, even if you have to tiptoe through that darkness just a little bit. It's still progress. And I think one thing that we need to keep in mind too, as humans, we're not freaking perfect. This life is so messy and sloppy. And your testimony is built in those times of adversity of life. Your test is your testimony. Your mess is your message that you can get out and share with the world. Embrace it, enjoy it, get comfortable with discomfort. You gotta take action somewhere. There's something that you can do right now. And I guarantee you, as I say that, something in your head is sparking and you're like, oh, I know I can do something about this. If you don't know what that is, let me help you with that. That's what I'm here for.
Yes, I love that. I mean, I think many times, like you said, we find ourselves in that challenge, and you tend to diminish your power. But I love how you said it's those challenges, it's those setbacks that are really building your message. It's not something to hide and shy away from, but it's something that can push you to that next level. And I love something you said there as well. Is like you can ask help through that process, because, like you said, we're not perfect. Life is not, as long as I know, this is going to be our only human experience, right? So to think you're going to do it right the first time, it's just hard to imagine itself. So I like how you said it's taking that action, realizing it's going to be challenging, but like you said right there, you can ask for help.
There is no shame in that. Oh my gosh. We've all been there. We've all been in a position where we had to ask for help. Let go of your freaking pride. Get out of your own head and let God prevail. It's time. Playtime's over. Playtime in your darkness and your mess and your excuses and your poor victim mentality. It's over. I'm calling you higher. God is calling you higher. God is using me to call you up to the next level. And clearly that desire is in you if you're listening to this. There's something that you can do right now to foster that. And I'll also say too, like, action is super important, but sometimes, especially as moms, especially even men who, I know plenty of men who are working 2 jobs trying to provide for their family, who are spread so freaking thin that they don't have anything to give at the end of the day. So I would challenge those people, myself included, because I love to just give and serve and all these amazing things. When you spread yourself too thin, you're suppressing your immune system. You're going to get sick quickly. You're going to go through fast food because you suck at time management. Let's be real. And maybe you don't. Maybe you're a time management savage like myself. I don't know. But I'll teach you the power of one word. And that word is no. It's time to start using it. If you find yourself that you are spreading yourself too thin. If you need help with time management strategies, let's chat. I've got you.
Man, I love that. Man, that's so powerful. And I really like you said right there, no. It can simply be no. I think many times we're wanting to achieve so much. We know that it's limited, but we still keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And like you said, sometimes that ego helps us. The ego holds us back from thinking, if I ask for help, it'll diminish my power, or it'll make me feel weak. But I love how you said it's that power that you have of saying no that gives you that power and that time back. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you think about it, there are 3 things that we can't ever get back. Number 1 is time. Life is too short to be wasting your time on things of needless value. Number 2, your energy. Energy is ever present. You can't add and you can't destroy energy. But your personal energy combined with time and your attention, those 3 things, time, energy, and attention, are those non-replenishable resources. If it's not serving you or helping you draw closer to your creator or helping you fulfill your mission on this earth, and maybe you don't even know what your mission on this earth is, we'll figure it out. I'm here to help you. But be careful with where you spend those, because there is literally only one life. We need to exercise those things with caution. Don't spend it yelling it at your kids because you're frustrated and don't know how to control your own emotions. Spend it embracing that child. Build that connection. In fact, if there's one thing that I can say to spend your time, energy, and attention on, is connection. Connection with the man upstairs, or the universe, or whoever you believe in. Connect with yourself and connect with those who you want to spend the rest of your life with. Children, for me, absolutely in the picture. God, for me, even more important. He's always in the picture. Connecting with myself. And you don't need to spend hours a day doing this. Maybe it's brushing your teeth and saying, hey, you're a badass, Hey, you're amazing. Hey, you're going to go do great things today. Hey, I'm proud of you, and give yourself a high five. Or, hey, God, thanks so much for blessing me today. I appreciate the sunrise. Fist bump that guy. You know what I mean? Connection is the best thing that you can spend your time, energy, and attention on. Because when you connect with God, when you connect with the universe or whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, and you connect with yourself, it naturally builds that confidence and empowers you to take action.
Yeah. Man, I love that. Yes, that time, energy, and attention. Wow. It's so powerful because I love those such, like you said, like that's all we have in life. Those are powerful things in life. And you start to think about, where am I giving that away freely, right? Am I giving it to what's going to feed me? What is it? Am I giving it to what's is it really, am I using those towards my goals? But I love how you're being more attention of where you're giving it away, because I think, like you said, when you realize the gift of what that is, you probably protect it a lot more, right? But I think many times we're sitting here thinking, well, I've been told my time needs to go here. I've been told my energy needs to go here. But really going back to what truly matters. I love that. I love how you're talking about really and putting your energy in that direction. That's so powerful.
Absolutely. And just, you have to go back to the basics. You and you and whoever you serve. For me, I serve God. If me and God have a gap in our relationship, I'm going to trip over that constantly as I'm running about on his errand in my life, or running around chasing distractions that don't matter. Distractions don't have to be evil to be destructive. If there's cracks in your foundation, you're going to trip. It's a matter of when. You might trip in a crevice and scab up your knee. Good on you. Get up, keep going. But sometimes those cracks might just allow you to plummet right down into that darkness, that pit of despair, where no one wants to be. Connect with the basics. Get your bases covered. God, yourself, and those that matter to you. And then everything else falls into its proper place, or those unimportant things will drop out of your life. It's not a complicated. I think we as humans tend to overcomplicate things. We spend a lot of time on social media and everyone's like, oh, I've got a solution for this and I got a solution for that. Let me tell you what the solution is. Fill those gaps in your foundation, reinforce that, call upon the universe or God to help you reinforce that. Do those things daily. It doesn't have to be 1 minute a day can make a big difference. 18 minutes a day over the course of a year is 100 hours. It doesn't need to be a big, complicated, long thing. Yeah. It's super easy. Yes, we as humans are resilient, but we are not made to constantly be tripping and falling in those cracks that we've created, that we've allowed to happen. Maybe it's circumstantial, maybe it's situational, maybe we were raised in an environment where we weren't allowed to speak up or fill in those cracks. We're trying to do the best that we can with what control that we have. But there is something that you can do. Go back to the basics. And if the only basic that you have is a silent prayer between you and God, do it. Absolutely do it. He hears you. He knows everything you're thinking of. Ask him for help, and I promise you it will rock your world. Stay consistent with it too, because his timeline for answering prayers is not always going to be on the same timeline as what you expect. Don't lean into your own understanding, as it talks about in Proverbs, right? Lean into him. Lean into the universe. God still created that. There's still power in nature and healing and grounding. Lean into those things. Lean into those beings, I should say, not things. Things are what distract us. Things are what trip us. I know, my son's got plenty of Legos on the floor because I need to go home and tidy up a little bit. But, some of those things are inevitable, is my point. And God will allow us to trip. But asking him for help up, asking him for, what am I supposed to learn from this? Ask yourself if you don't believe in anything. Ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this? You will connect more with yourself on a deeper level and come to that point of self-awareness that that unconscious incompetence, you're going to go through that refinement process, and it is going to be ugly. I speak from experience. It is going to be an ugly process, but you're going to get so good at mastering that one skill when combined with that accountability and grace. Don't forget to grant yourself forgiveness and grace, but you will be able to overcome anything. Whether it's a struggle with finances, whether it's a struggle with physical activity, whether it's movement, whether it's sleep, whether it's stress, whether it's surrounding yourself with the wrong people, whether it is your contribution to society as a whole, maybe it's your workplace, whatever it might be, you can overcome it. But it all starts with your thoughts and your mindset. RAS, blinders like a horse.
Man, I love that. I love that. Like, I love how you're talking about, we tend to overcomplicate things and really getting back to the basics. I think that's such a powerful statement in itself. Because I think like you're talking about those cracks, those stumbles, those things we keep tripping over. We're thinking the only way to do it is going to have to, we try to overcomplicate it. So when it comes time to do the work, like you're talking about, showing up each day, being consistent, we don't want to do the work because we're like, it can't be that easy. But I love how you're talking about just consistently showing up and answering those questions to yourself and having that accountability, but accountability to yourself. I think that's what it really comes down to, like you're talking about, having that mindset that I'm going to need to show up each and every day, even when it's hard.
Yeah.
But I have to fill in those cracks. I love that. It's so awesome.
Yeah. And one action, you feel that you take that first step forward, and it's scary because maybe setting foot in the gym for the first time is the most daunting thing that you've ever challenged yourself to do. Day one, you might go in there and feel the environment, hang out in the locker room for a minute, kind of wait and observe. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. There's somebody that looks like he knows what he's doing. And then you go try it. And that circle of influences is so powerful. And then maybe day two, you're like, I'm going to go try this. Oh, there's that guy again. I recognize him. He really knows what he's doing now. Super cool. So you start choosing those things. You start building that momentum. Then it becomes not just a habit, and you start building that motivation. That motivation then feeds into discipline. Discipline is when you consistently show up for yourself so that you can show up for others in any capacity that they might need you. And then from there, it's a big snowball effect. Snowballs just starts with one little snowflake, which compounds and compounds. That momentum with discipline is what really creates success, especially in the mindset of it all.
Yes, I love that. I love how you talked about showing up for yourself, which allows you to show up for others. I think when you start sharing momentum, you don't realize how many other people are like, man, I see them doing the work. Maybe I can start taking those steps in that right direction. When you start building that momentum, and I love how you talked about that, how you build that momentum and then you're able to show up better for others. I think many times we're looking at people and saying, it'd be great if they did this, but we haven't quite really started that momentum ourselves. We're like, man, you'd be way better off if you did that. But I love how you're talking about, you start with yourself, which allows you to, on the other side, if you're not doing the action, how is it really going to be easy to empower somebody else to do it? Man, that's awesome.
It's not going to be easy.
That mindset,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think one thing too that we need to keep in mind is ridding ourselves is what Jen Gottlieb calls as comparisonitis. You are not in the same place as anyone else in life, maybe similar positions, similar places. Comparisonitis. Do not give that stupid disease to please an opportunity to rip your heart to shreds and your brain, because it will feed that negative wolf. You have two wolves. Let's not feed that negative one, right? Getting rid of that, booting that. If there's someone that you're jealous of, get them out of your life. They're not worth it. You're worth so much more than that. I don't know. I think it's so important to really take time. It will take time to take a look at all of these components that we've discussed, which have been a lot. It will take time block. Maybe all you have is 10 minutes on your drive home from work. Maybe it's on the bus. Maybe it's coming from school. I don't know, whatever it might be, time block, 10 minutes. This is an absolute non-negotiable. And I love, as I've started doing my non-negotiable time, how much more love I have felt for myself, because I've been on the complete opposite end of that. Even last year, as I was overcoming uterine cancer, I felt entirely worthless, because I'm like, the very thing that made me a mother, the very thing that made me a woman, right? And I say that with quotes because whatever, the world that we live in, I'm a woman. I still am a woman. Those things don't define me. Things should not define you, is my point. Things should not define you. Your materialistic possessions doesn't define you. Your hobbies, your habits, they don't define you. What defines you? That man up there. You're a child of God. Embrace it. Show up for yourself. Treat yourself well. Build on those non-negotiables for you. Create your own core value system. Create your own mission statement, your own vision. In fact, your vision, you've got to get so clear And nothing, it has to be strong enough that nothing pulls you away from that, so that, and post it in places, right? When you write down your vision, you're like 42% more likely to execute upon that and remember what that vision is. I have mine on my home screen on my phone because I'm always like, the average human looks at their phone like 811 times a day, I think is what latest research is showing. That's a lot. Hey, Beck, your vision is this. It's not the Chick-fil-A drive-through, even though I had chicken before I came, because Chick-fil-A's chicken is great. Grilled chicken nuggets, phenomenal. Until I looked at their list of ingredients. I'm human too. I'm granting myself some grace. But get so clear on your vision. Understand what your vision is. Connect with God to understand what that is. Say no to everything else that is not in alignment with that vision. Say yes to everything that is in that. And if there's something that you know that you want to do, that God is calling you to do, to be in alignment with your best version of yourself, to make that mindset shift, to communicate with yourself better, to foster stronger networks and a support group and a community to bring you up, find a way. You will find a way if your will is strong enough, if your vision is strong enough. The importance of having that undeniable vision that's going to carry you through any decision. So when those tough times hit or life disruptors happen, things that are completely out of your control, you know exactly what you're going to do. One of the biggest acts of self-love is not just discipline, but automating your choices. What I mean by that is your vision is so clear that you know exactly what your decision is going to be in that moment, because you've already made it when you decided on what your vision is.
Man, that is so wow, man. So many great nuggets there. But I just want to start with this first one real quick. I love you how you talked about the distraction of comparison. Like, I think many times it's easy to find yourself in that you're looking, like you said, social media tell you what you should desire or where you should be. But I love how you talk about when you have that self, that reverence, like you just need to remove those distractions. And thinking about it, if it's distracting you and making you feel less than, you need to remove it. I love how you just said immediately remove it, because it's not the truth. It's just a lie, because you've been created by, like you said, the Most High in this world, which is so powerful. Like when you think about that, like that is just so. But I love how you talked about time. And I love something you said there. You said, when I started to time block and make those non-negotiables in my life, it brought that higher self-worth, like, that more peace in your life, because, you that more reverence as well. Like I had that respect for myself by realizing that this time is valuable to me, but more so goals as well. And when I commit those non-negotiables to me, it's just a really showing love to yourself. It's so awesome.
Yeah, in fact, just understanding your worth and executing upon that to magnify that is another one of the greatest acts of self-love that you can give yourself. Show up for yourself so that you can be someone that you trust, because being an entrepreneur I just shut down my seamstress business I've run that for 16 years, creating like custom gowns and baby blessing dresses and baptism dresses and wedding dress alterations and the whole 9 yards. I got good at it, but it was a distraction because now I'm in the place where I want to be. I had to say no to that. I just think it's so incredibly important as an entrepreneur to not compare yourself, even just as a human in general. You cannot compare yourself if you want to go on the mission that God wants you to go on, because there's only one of you, honey. He created this entire world, and he thought the world needed one of you. Embrace that. Understand the magnifying of what that calling is. Treat it with the utmost sacredness and reverence that he does. Going back to self-love. You have to love yourself so you can trust yourself, so that God can trust you. If you don't trust yourself, how is anyone else supposed to? Your family, your friends, your circle of influence, your power of proximity, your coworkers, people that you interface with on the streets. When you show self-love, you carry yourself so differently. When you choose and prioritize that self-love, which means getting rid of all of these distractions, which means getting rid of this negative mindset, which means cleaning up your life, removing any blocks that's between you and God, or you and the universe, or you and whoever, even like imperfect relationships. human to human, when you remove those blocks with the people that matter the most in your life and let God's light come through that channel, baby, you become unstoppable. There's no room for that. There's no room. There's no time. Nothing is worth your time, energy, and attention if it's going to pull you away from that calling that God has intended you to fulfill on this life. You got a mission to fulfill. Say no. It's okay. Totally okay. Say no to distraction. Say no to negativity. Say no to other people's wants and desires for you, because you know what matters? What's in here? That's what matters. And what God wants you to do. That's what matters. Say yes to those things before you say yes to anyone else's needs from you or desires from you. Me as a mother, I used to feel so guilty for telling my kid no, that they can't have a freaking peanut butter and jelly sandwich at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know. We've made modifications to that. Kitchen's closed at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. now. But it's totally okay to say no. You have to show up for yourself. It's powerful to say the word no, and you gain more personal respect, more personal confidence, your self-efficacy, self-esteem, everything like that just goes right through the roof. You are worth it. Stop playing so small. Get out of your own head. Get out of your own way. You are the bottleneck with your limiting self-beliefs. My role as a mother is to give my children the ceiling in which I put on myself. They need that as their floor. I can't give them that if I don't tell them no, if I don't tell myself no. Hey, Beck, you want to go get a Big Mac? No, I don't want to go get a Big Mac. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Do it with tactfulness and politeness. There's ways to do it. But it's a very powerful thing when you can say no to those things that are not in alignment with your will, with God's will, more importantly.
Man, that is powerful. Just hearing that power of no, man, Becky, you've given us so many powerful strategies, so many golden nuggets in there. I mean, so much knowledge. But somebody listening here today is like, you know what? I cannot let this be the last time I hear from Becky Webb. How can people get connected with you?
Oh my gosh, please connect with me. I'm a big social media person on Instagram. My Facebook is not my jam. But you can follow me at official Becky Webb, BECKY Webb, WEBB. And then, of course, on the website at rapidresiliencenutrition.com. So shoot me an email, rapidresiliencenutrition@gmail.com. Any way that we can stay in contact, I would absolutely love. And I love to offer this because I know that I'm called to serve. So anything up here, I want to get out to the world. My goal is to impact one person's life for the better, to bring them closer to God. I know exactly what my mission, my vision is in the long term. That's only part of it. But I would absolutely love to connect with you and see how we can serve each other. Notice I didn't say serve just you. Let's see how we can serve each other, because I have something to learn from you too if we are meant to connect.
Man, I love that. You guys heard it there. So like I said, don't let this be the last time you hear from Becky. The best thing, I'm going to make it super simple for you guys. I'm going to put all of her links under here. So you go ahead and follow her on social and connect with her. I'm going to put all those links to make it super simple. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your mission. And we're excited to stay connected with you and whatever is coming up next for you as well. All right, you guys. So like Becky said, use that power of no and realize your power this day. If you had to give a last message, if you had to give some closing words to somebody, Becky, what would you want to say? What do you want them to know?
I want you to know that you are created for a very divine purpose, that there's nothing that you cannot overcome. There is so much that life has to offer, but more importantly, there's so much that you have to offer life itself. Figure it out, and your life is going to change. And I would urge you, whatever that is, include God in the process and watch your entire life change. I speak from personal experience. You're worth it.
I love that. I love that. Like Becky said, you are worth it, friends. All right, you guys, take